progressed through the years. It's a leading company in primarily import and export, either domestic import into California or international import into California of agricultural byproducts that are used in primarily dairy feed, but all kinds of agricultural feed. We operate out of 15 locations throughout the United States. You look at what the things we carry, and you say raisin trays. That seems a little bit off. Well, if you think about it, in 1878 or shortly after in Fresno, one of the things that farmers would need around here would be raisin trays, and we're still in that business. Finally, the last thing, and the thing we're going to talk about a little bit today, is we operate a deep water bulk cargo terminal at the Port of Stockton. We primarily got into this to import cottonseed from Australia, but it is one of the largest grain elevators on the West Coast. And we both import and export out of that product. I'm the information technology for the company. I've been an employee of the company since about 2001. I was a contractor prior to that. I am the IT manager and the only IT person at the company, thanks to some good contractors. The thing to note here, though, is it says IT manager. I'm the guy that's responsible for the software systems, the computer systems, the internetworking. I generally didn't get involved with the industrial automation because we pretty much didn't have any up until not too long ago. So what I'm talking to you today, you might call it the amateur's approach to industrial automation and why InTouch Edge has worked for that. Josh, who made up some of my slides, makes a joke at one of the end of them is we chose it because it actually works. The IT guy can make it work, and there is something to be said for that. So our need for an automation project came about when we entered into a contract to unload palm oil at our terminal in Stockton. Palm oil's I call it hot oil in Stockton because it's unloaded at 150 degrees off of the ship. If you wonder what palm oil is, if you've ever bought a Duraflame log, that orange stuff that makes up most of the log is what the palm oil is. We're unloading oil off of a ship on a public waterway, and when you start talking oil in public waterways, the Coast Guard starts getting very, very excited. Now, it doesn't matter that this palm oil, if it's under 100 degrees, is solid like a candle, and you can scoop it out of the river. They don't care. They want to see an adequate plan for monitoring and controlling the unloading of the system. And we found that in our old traditional manual ways of doing it, the Coast Guard improve and had an immediate need for a system. We purchased back then what was called a Foxborough InTouch suite. Foxborough was, I guess they're still around. It was Foxborough, Insys, Eurotherm, Schneider Electric, somehow Wonderware was involved. I really don't understand the whole connection between the two. But it was a full-blown InTouch suite of products. Met our needs, probably was somewhat overkill for what we needed at the time. Just to give you an idea of what we're doing in Stockton, this is a view of our terminal. The domes off to the right aren't us. That's a cement. The boats being unloaded are loaded there right now, and if you can see the tanks kind of off to the left, that's where the palm oil is going. So we had a pretty substantial pipeline that needed to be controlled and monitored. I didn't build this. We used a company out of, I believe they're out of Martinez, that helped us with our initial InTouch system and installation of the Foxborough equipment to control it. I did work with it, though. I began to learn to use it. We had some other projects come up fairly quickly that we wanted to do some automation in. I learned to program our hardware environment, but I was somewhat frustrated with the InTouch product that we had. I think the product that I bought was actually behind the times when I bought it in terms of the InTouch product. I wasn't happy with let's say the options, the capabilities, and the pricing of the product. So rather than continue to expand that in our operation, I began to look for other options. I tried several other, I mentioned to somebody, I think it was Rob, that our company is not a data acquisition company. They actually would prefer we not collect the data because the managers have to look at it and they don't want to do that. We were looking for an HMI essentially. So I had done some things with some HMI panels, some stuff from Easy Automation, had made some progress with it. And I was beginning to look at another product, a web-based product from one of your competitors up in Northern California, when one day the salesman from Wonderware California shows up. And I hadn't even figured out really quite who Wonderware California was. But anyway, nice fella shows up, convinces me this is the product. I'd like to tell you that I looked very closely and analyzed it from top to bottom and made the right decision, but actually the price was right. He was a very convincing fella, and I didn't have a whole lot of time to make a decision because they were finishing up a grain grinder. My company was finishing up a grain grinder that needed a control system, a control and monitoring system. So I bought it. The price was right. I was actually very little bit of experience building HMI systems and quite a bit of experience programming our control hardware. And so I was fairly able to, without any training, I've taken some good classes since, I think Rob taught both of them, from Wonderware California. But instead I sat down and read some of the manuals, watched some of the videos, and in the course of about 2 hours I was on a screen that starts the system, stops the system, and tells them that it's running. A few more classes, a little more reading, able to link some screens, some other screens, some monitoring for hopper levels. Eventually we came up with an alarm collection system, and now it is what I was asked to build is a fully automated system. Our old grain grinder, we're taking rice and bran, white rice, byproducts of white rice, broken rice that isn't suitable for the human market, and bran, combining them together, grinding it, and they sell it as ground brown rice into the pet food market. The old grinder required 2 people to run it, one to run it and one to monitor the mix of the product flowing in so that we knew we had the right amount of rice and bran. The goal of the new grinder is start it and walk away, and we were able to come up with a system fairly short order, runs itself now. Plans to make it even a bit more automated so that a manager can start it from his office, but those are pretty much down the road. Just to give you an idea, though, I don't know if you can tell the scope of those things. Those silos are about 100 feet tall, and the monitoring is very important, and our ability to prevent problems or to detect and act on problems is very important. You have a plug on there or something goes the wrong direction, it makes a big mess real fast. And I can tell you, when I was setting these things up originally, when I'd spill grain all over the place because I didn't have it right, it really makes the crews that have to clean it up upset, but at least I don't have to clean it up. So Josh wrote the last. I actually didn't change him because I agree with him. I was happy with this to learn and relatively easy to integrate with our existing systems. One complaint, but it's not a complaint with InTouch Edge, it's a complaint with my systems. We integrate with Modbus, and building the Modbus maps for every single point at 2 or 3 points in Edge and 2 points in my PLC is a royal pain in the ass, and I don't intend to continue working in that direction, but I think that's more speaking about our hardware than the systems. And there's Josh's line about any IT guy can figure it out. IT guy could figure it out.
Those were all your words.
Okay. Anyway, we do have, again, I'm the only IT guy, so it's going to take me a while to get to everything the company wants to do. But I will say one thing about Wonderware California. I'm appreciating working with them. Somebody today was talking about their PLC 5s in their environment. Well, that's what runs the grain elevator, and it's a wonderful system, but it's becoming increasingly difficult to find parts for it and to maintain it. It's got to go. we really don't know which direction we're going, and I've really appreciated the help that I've gotten from Josh, Danny, and the company about how we may move to a ControlLogix, stay with Allen Bradley, or move to something like Siemens. But I think it's pretty clear that we're going to use Edge as our HMI and control system, and I see it as a critical part of the migration of the system. Any questions? All right, thank you.